So, welcome to my Istanbul travel vlog, where I don't quit my job to travel the world, and I do have a meticulously detailed itinerary. Some people plan their dream trip and actually go. I planned mine, but then life laughed and postponed it several times. But this year, destiny ran out of excuses. After years of dreaming, planning, postponing, pandemics, bank account betrayals, and the occasional, maybe next year, I'm finally doing it. I'm going to Istanbul! Yeah! The city where East meets West, history slaps you in the face every 5 steps, and your diet doesn't stand a chance against baklava. The city where continents collide, the city of empires, mosques, and suspiciously photogenic street cats. What's that all about? Besides, where else can you walk through 3 empires in one afternoon and still be back in time for the best kebab of your life? A city so historic, it makes Rome look like a teenager. I'm a history buff, so this trip was basically my version of Disneyland, my personal holy grail. Now, being the completely normal control freak that I am, I planned this trip down to the minute, like scary levels of planning. There's a spreadsheet with conditional formatting. I'm thrilled that I finally found a destination where my obsessive trip planning is justified. I had backup chargers, a day-by-day schedule, and 3 separate just-in-case museum lists. This wasn't a vacation. This was a tactical, cultural mission. I like to prepare for every eventuality, that is, to avoid all foreseeable negative situation, and in doing so, their foreseeable consequences. Of course, not everything can be anticipated. Some situations are simply beyond our control. Being well prepared is about managing the risks we can see, but even more so, it's about being ready for the ones we can't. Okay, so you're packing for Istanbul, charging your power bank, making a playlist called, Turkish Delights, and dreaming of sipping tea by the Bosphorus. You heard people do that, right? It's real. And that's great. But wait, do you actually know where you're going? Let's get one thing straight before your plane even touches down in Istanbul. If you don't know the basic geography, this city will confuse you faster than a street cat eyeing your kebab. Because Istanbul isn't just a city. It's practically a geography class with really good food. Now, let's talk geography. Just the basics. No pop quiz, I promise. Okay, so here we have the world map, as you can see. This red pin is Istanbul. And we're gonna zoom in. You can see other European countries. You can see here is Turkey. It borders with Georgia, Azerbaijan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Bulgaria, Greece. So a very big country. And here you have, here you can see the Black Sea, right? And here this is the Sea of Marmara, as you can see, okay? So this is Istanbul territory. And as you can see, Istanbul is split by a narrow but mighty stretch of water called the Bosphorus Strait. Here it is, the Bosphorus Strait. It separates Europe from Asia, as you can see from this map, okay? So Europe from Asia. So yes, you can literally have breakfast in Europe and dinner in Asia without even using a passport or a spaceship. Just hop on a ferry or hail a taxi to take you across one of 3 bridges, but you don't want a taxi, you want a ferry. Now, let's break this down. So, the European side, as you can see, this is the European side, is divided by the Golden Horn. This is the Golden Horn, which is like a natural harbor that creates 2 major districts. This one is called Fatih. It's home to all the big names, Hagia Sophia, Topkapi Palace, the Blue Mosque, and more ancient architecture than your history teacher could ever dream of. And here you have Beyoğlu. Here's where you see Taksim Square, this Galata Tower. This is where the nightlife, art, and the overpriced coffee live. Now, the Asian side, see across the Bosphorus, the Asian side, is more residential, more relaxed, and weirdly underrated, I have to say that. There are two major districts. This one is called Kadıköy over here, and this one is called Üsküdar. In the past, this entire part was called Üsküdar, but now it's not anymore. I don't know why. You should ask the locals that. Now Kadıköy over here, I really liked Kadıköy. It's cool. It's like artsy cousin of Istanbul. Great food, lively markets, locals actually living their lives. Many cafes, many restaurants. It has that special vibe. It's different than the European side. It's actually more European than the European side, but I'll mention that in one of the videos. And then you have Üsküdar over here. It's more conservative, older vibe, and an epic sunset view of the European skyline. Now, Istanbul is not flat. It's built on 7 hills, just like Rome, because apparently ancient empires were into that kind of thing. And so get ready to walk up some steep streets. It'll make your calves cry and your views worth it. Now, pro tip, don't just say Istanbul like it's just one big neighborhood. So when I say that you should learn a little geography, I'm not saying memorize every district. That would be insane, ludicrous, but at least know which side of the city is Asia and which side is Europe. Well, that sounds basic, right? Well, apparently not for everyone. And do you know why I say that? So, one day I was watching this vlog. This guy, I think from South America, comes to Istanbul for 3 days. Doesn't visit any museums, doesn't visit any sites, just drinks juice, shops at the bazaar, lives his best tourist life. And that's totally cool. Everyone's got their own travel style. But, and there's a big but. So this guy was crossing the Galata Bridge. Here you see Galata Köprüsü, that means Galata Bridge. I hope I pronounced it right. This is the Galata Bridge. And as you can see, it's the European side, okay? This is Asia. See this mighty stretch of water, that's the Bosphorus, so this is the European side. So this guy was crossing the Galata Bridge, which is basically 490 meters long, and it connects 2 neighborhoods on the European side. And so he was crossing the Galata Bridge. He was filming the Galata Tower. You can see, you know, like the top of Galata Tower. And he proudly declared, "We are now entering Asia." I'm sorry, what? Sir, no, that's not Asia. You see, that's Karaköy. It says here, Karaköy. And the only thing exotic here is the price of coffee and number of cats per square meter. But this is still Europe, still Istanbul, and still about 3 kilometers away from the continent you think you've entered. You see, there's a strait. You see all these lines that symbolizes the ferry lines. So, see, there's a lot of ferry lines. There's an entire body of water. So, this is Europe. This is Asia. Please don't confuse it. Look, Istanbul is confusing. Its geography can be tricky. Sure, I get it. But this wasn't even a close miss. It was a geographical nosedive. So unless the tectonic plates moved overnight and the Bosphorus dried up, you're still in Europe, amigo. It's like crossing the Brooklyn Bridge and yelling, "We've entered Canada!" Beautiful confidence, zero accuracy. Honestly, if confidence could build bridges, he'd be halfway to Tokyo by now. But hey, I admire the spirit. It takes a special kind of traveler to discover Asia without even leaving the European side, and then posting a video about it, with a clickbait title. So, before you land, do yourself a favor. Open a map, open Street View, know where the continents are. I mean, it's 2025. Learn to say Bosphorus without panicking. Now, let's talk a bit more about geography, shall we? The Bosphorus, to be exact, because I've seen vlogs of people calling it a river. A river! Ah, yes, the Bosphorus, that famous river running through Istanbul. Except it's not a river, it's a strait, which means it's a naturally narrow body of water that connects two seas, the Sea of Marmara and the Black Sea. Not just a random body of water that happened to show up and ruin your Instagram picture. But sure, let's call it a river if it helps. I mean, why not? Who needs to respect basic geography? Am I right? It's just one of the world's most strategically important waterways that has been the stage for centuries of naval battles, empires, and diplomatic drama. Totally river material. I mean, it flows, it's got water, and you can sail on it. So clearly, that makes it a river, right? But in conclusion, let's just agree that calling the Bosphorus a river is like calling, I don't know, the Eiffel Tower a really fancy radio antenna. But no worries. It's still gorgeous, and I promise you won't be the only one confusing a majestic strait for a river. But just don't be surprised if some local cat on the shoreline side-eyes you like, "You really think I live by a river? That's hilarious." Amateur